questions for Coach Collins?
You got that big spark out of the bench there in the fourth quarter, but it was such a big hole from there. Obviously, it's a game where it feels like if you could find a way to bottle that intensity, then throughout the game, maybe results are a little bit different.
Yeah, obviously, we missed Trinity. You know, she's fighting some flu-like symptoms, and just, you know, we did everything to try to get her ready to go, but she really felt awful, and so we miss her leadership. You could see that in decision making, and you know, but yeah, we dug a big hole. Sometimes we didn't play with that same fire, and we played what we thought the outcome was going to be instead of just playing the game. And so, yeah, we had kids like Annie and Lola came in there, and Melissa Yendry came in. They came in and played hard. And you know, I got on Silva's tail again about not rebounding. Played 10 minutes first half, had no rebounds. And I said, you know, you're worried more about getting the ball and shooting. Like, you've got to play defense. And then the ball screen started hurting us because, anyway. But we need her to be more present inside. Like, we're trying to use her size, and we're trying to put her in a spot, and you know, that's the hard thing about the portal. You get a young lady that hasn't played, and you're trying to get them ready from really August to November, and it's just hard to get them caught up and to know what they need to do, especially when they haven't been playing competitive basketball and they've been sitting. So they gave great effort. You know, I was proud of Annie's aggressiveness. Yendry got some picks in there, and we got to work on that transition, make sure we get more buckets out of that. But the ball movement got a little bit better. The player movement got a little bit better. We missed some things, but at least we were moving and trying harder. And it wasn't, you know, we weren't looking for a reason to not play. We were looking for a reason to play hard and play the game.
Yeah, you kind of brought it up there, Coach. You guys were forcing steals. It was just finishing at the other end that kind of did you.
Yeah, that's been all year. That's not just tonight or just this. I mean, it's been all year. We get, you know, I mentioned the other night, La Tech, we got down the floor and missed 5 layups on one trip. And so there's times we run a play, get somebody the ball, and you think it's a bucket, and they hit the bottom of the rim. Or we get something that hits the side of the backboard. And so we just aren't real settled, you know, and one of the things that we're trying to do less is the running, hit the floor, and just launching ourselves sideways, spinning out of control, and taking these flyby shots, and they're just low percentage shots, and you don't get fouls. And when you get settled, you know, good basketball players stay under control, and good basketball players can, you know, they stay in a spot where if you change on defense, they can make a change, an adjustment. But, you know, sometimes we get sped up, and we're trying just to get a shot off. And that's not the goal. You don't get points for getting shots off. And so we just got to get, you know, I feel like, you know, Annie's getting closer to that. You know, I think some players did a better job earlier in the season than they are now at just being settled. But we just got to keep working on that. And, you know, it hurt us losing Salma, you know, and she'll probably, you know, have to go through concussion protocol, but took a hard hit, but she's okay. And but that hurt us because she's, you know, one of our better offensive players at getting to the rim and getting finishes. And so we missed that. And but I was proud of Tatum coming in. You know, on the offensive end, we still got work to do. Understanding when you got somebody that hit 1 or 2 threes, you can't keep helping off and thinking you're going to get there. They're going to shoot it anyway. And so, you know, she had a big night.
I mean, you mentioned Salma too, and then obviously Tori leaves there early in the second half. It looked like maybe her knee, but you know, you're already without Trinity. Your depth really kind of got tested tonight because it felt like you kept losing people during the game.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it did, and you know, Tori apparently did something during warm-ups. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but you know, and I told Trinity when she was going through treatment, and then we talked to her, and she looked washed out. And really, I said, Trin, if we were playing for a conference championship, I'd say suck it up and let's go. But we're not. And said there's no sense in you know, running the risk of doing something that's harmful to her or making somebody else sick. And so we just said it wasn't worth it. And, you know, it was a good opportunity really for Tia to kind of get some meaningful moments. And she did better tonight than she did in the game at Longwood when Trin broke her hand, and so she's grown and learned a lot. And you know, I'll give Tia I give Tia a lot of props. Like, she's worked hard to go from not playing to trying to be an impactful player. And so, she's learning. She gets in here and works almost every day, and she studies, and she's trying, and she's like everybody. She's got limitations, but that effort's the most important thing.
The slow start again too. It feels like the UTEP game's kind of been the exception here lately. It's been that slow starts where you kind of dig yourself early holes and are trying to have to climb out of them. It's been a lot of energy.
And that's directly related to our ability to score. And we're trying to win games in the 50s. And so it's directly related to our ability just to finish simple shots, get simple shots, move the ball. We tend to hold the ball. We've got some that just tend to hold the ball and look and then drive into trouble, which I still don't understand. And that's nothing that we practice, but that hurts us. And the UTEP game, we were able to get out in transition and actually get some buckets there, and that helped. And it helped that they're not a great shooting team, and so that helps because they're missing shots. And what happens when you play teams that have a kid that's lighting up from the three-point line? Well, it's a little harder to get out to a fast start because she's nailing shots, and then we get deflated. And so instead of kind of bowing up and digging our heels in a little bit more, but obviously a fast start, any type of run on offense helps us. We need more points.
When you put Yindri and Annie in, were you expecting like the games that they ended up having, like really really good games for very young players? Like, were you expecting?
Well, no, Yindri's not young. She's graduating, but yeah. She's young on the court because she hasn't played. But yeah, and Annie's a freshman, and so Annie did great last night, I thought, on defense. Like, she held Mills really until she hit that game-winning three off that little flare screen. She was 3 for 3 in the first half, and then she was 4 for 8 in the second, or for the game. And so she had that one shot, and so she did a good job. I expect her to do a good job defensively. I started her one game, and it just seemed to rattle her a little bit. So she seems like she's more comfortable coming off the bench, and so I'm not surprised. And Melissa's been playing really well in practice. She's felt better now than she's felt in a year. Props to our training staff. Rebecca's done a great job, and Parker, our strength coach, at getting her knee to where she doesn't have as much discomfort, and she's able just to play and not think about that. And so she's been doing really well in practice. And so I wasn't surprised. I didn't know that she was going to get the steals like she did. But she's been really crafty at getting to the rim. But we got to work on those steals and make sure we get more layups. It's frustrating. It happened last night too. Tori got a steal and fumbled the ball all the way down the floor, and we got nothing. And so it happens every night. And we just got to be able to turn turnovers into easier transition opportunities. And so we just kind of struggle with that a little bit.
Now you've got a whole week before the next matchup. You kind of break that cycle of back-to-back. I mean, you don't usually have games on back-to-back anyways, but now you get a whole week to kind of rest and get some players back and get your footing. What's some things you're looking to work on over this next week?
It's still rebounding. It's still making sure that we're late. They got busted at halftime because we got some that are surprised when the ball comes off the rim. And you see a lot of one-handed deflections coming off the rim. And I don't understand that. Like, they shot the ball. You should be ready. We work on this every day, multiple times a day on rebounding. And so we're just not ready rebounders, and we're late rebounders. And so that's usually a reflection of the speed of the game. You're just not ready for the speed of the game. And so we're going to keep working on that because that's still coming. We got rebounded by 12. We were down, I believe 12 at halftime on the boards. And so at least the second half we played it even. But if you're not a good shooting team, well, that means there's going to be a lot of rebounds. And so we need more of those. And we're not playing a whole lot of great shooting teams. And so there are a lot of rebounds available, and we just don't seem to be able to. Last night there were parts where we did a great job of boxing everyone out. We even got some rebounds bounced off the floor. That's one of our drills that we do. But we're still not ready rebounders. So we're going to keep working on that. And you see moments where the ball's moving and players are moving, and all of a sudden, but then there's times when we just stand and watch. And then we dribble, and nothing happens that way. And that's not what we're practicing. And so we're trying to just make sure we do what we practice. So that's what we're going to keep trying to do, so we can be at our best. The next game, be a little better than we were last game, and try to get to the spot where we can win a game.
Anything else? All right, thanks.
You guys be safe.